Hey everybody, it's your boy. Before I begin the video, I would just like to say, can you please like, share and comment on the video, as it really helps with the algorithm and really helps the channel grow and prosper. And to be honest, I really just want to see you guys comment because it allows me to gauge what you guys think and feel about the subject and the videos and things like that. And honestly, it gets lonely when you don't get a lot of comments. That's really how I feel. But anyway, on with the video. And I think it's about time I talk about the Gina Carano situation. For those of you who don't know, Gina Carano has recently been fired from her role on The Mandalorian because of some abhorrent tweets that she made. But before we get into that, I hope that this situation is a wake-up call for those in the fandom menace and those in Comicsgate, because this should tell them exactly where people like Jon Favreau and others in the so-called pro-Lucas faction at Lucasfilm actually stand. Because which of them has come out in support of Gina Carano? Where's Jon Favreau defending her? He's nowhere to be seen. He's not out there sticking his head above the parapet and saying Gina Carano did nothing wrong. I hope this is a lesson for Disney because they're going to be seeing a lot of cancellations of Disney Plus, because the only reason why people are there to begin with is because of The Mandalorian. That's literally it. And I don't think they'll come back for any of the myriad of TV shows that they've announced. No, they're there for The Mandalorian, and in particular, a lot of them have really been drawn to Gina Carano for whatever reason. I'm personally not really interested in her. I don't really find her attractive like a lot of people do, and I'm not really amazed by her acting skills. But regardless, she's a popular member of the cast, and therefore they're playing with fire by firing her for innocuous tweets. Now, the SJWs were gunning for Gina Carano for a long time now. Before, they were trying to cancel her over a pronoun situation. No, she was not using pronouns in the wrong way towards trans people. No, what she refused to do was to put her own pronouns in her bio. Yes, for some reason, cisgendered or normal people, as I like to call them, especially if they're celebrities, are being told that they have to put their pronouns in there. Why? Well, I can only assume it's some kind of virtue signal to make trans people feel comfortable. I don't know. There's many different reasons why. I think it's just, you're going to do this because we tell you to. It's a power play from the trans activist lobby. I think that's why they've done that, and she refused to do it, and instead put beep boop bop as her pronouns as a sort of mocking gesture towards them, which really angered. That's not a sackable offence, amazingly, even though they tried very hard to get her sacked. Now, what was this tweet? Well, essentially, she compared hating somebody for their political ideology to how the Nazis treated the Jews and other minorities in World War II. A Godwin, I know, a Godwin, but regardless, that's what she said. But apparently that is now considered anti-Semitic by the most anti-Semitic group online, the far left. Apparently, using Godwin's law and comparing people to Nazis is now anti-Semitic and is verboten. You can't say such things, and that means that you should be fired. Now, obviously, this is a load of bollocks. Obviously, it is not anti-Semitic to compare any bad thing to the Nazis. That's the whole reason why we compare bad things to them. Just look at Star Wars. The Empire is based on the Nazi regime. It is based, if not on the iconography, then at the very least on how they ran things, the oppression, the restriction of freedom and things like that. And of course, Vader, his design, was based to some extent on German soldiers, but mainly on the Japanese. He has a bit more of an Eastern look about him, which is an obvious reference to the Imperial Japanese. So does that mean that Star Wars, Disney's beloved cash cow, is now anti-Semitic because it uses allegory and compares the Empire to the Nazis and is drawing influence from that time period? And how about Pedro Pascal? He compared Trump supporters to Nazis. He compared the cages on the border to Nazi concentration camps. Is he a Nazi? Oh no, he's not a Nazi because he's an insufferable leftist. Therefore, it's okay for him to compare the cages, which were not invented by Trump. He did not create them. That was Obama and Biden, I believe, that created the cages, or rather these holding cells, holding facilities for children as their parents are processed because they arrived illegally in the country. That's apparently okay to compare that to the concentration camps because Pedro Pascal is a communist fool. But Gina Carano, because she appears to be slightly right-wing, a little bit conservative, when she does the same thing defending her own viewpoint, that's wrong, that's anti-Semitic because she's right-wing. Nobody should be surprised at this hypocrisy. This is par for the course, so use it against them. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. And as I said before, I hope this is a wake-up call for the fandom menace and Comicsgate, especially Ethan Van Sciver, because it turns out that The Mandalorian, Jon Favreau are not the saviours of Star Wars, the saviours of good media that they think they are. They aren't. There is nothing good about them. They failed to protect one of their stars, one of the people who you would assume would be on the pro-Lucas side, quote unquote. But it turns out, really, they're not interested in saving George Lucas's legacy. They may have differences with Kathleen Kennedy over how to go about Star Wars, but look at The Mandalorian. There's loads of SJW stuff in that. Gina Carano's character is a stereotypical feminist character. I mean, she beat up The Mandalorian in one scene, or at the very least, went toe-to-toe with him when, realistically, she probably shouldn't. regardless if the actress is a trained MMA fighter or not. She's going up against a physically bigger man in power armor. The same problems that are affecting media are not going to disappear because Jon Favreau is now writing and directing The Mandalorian, and the censoring and unpersoning of people like Gina Carano is going to continue regardless of whether or not it's a Jon Favreau or a Kathleen Kennedy running Lucasfilm. It simply does not matter because these people either enable it or join in. And as for Disney, well, they're going to find quite a lot of people will be cancelling their memberships. Now, will it be enough to have a financial dent? I don't think so, because there's simply not enough people at the moment doing it from what I can gather. I think you guys need to actually get out there and convince people to cancel their memberships because this is such an egregious... You should be making this as a point of principle and telling people, look, Disney can't do this. There's nothing anti-Semitic about this. You should explain it to them why this is the case. Encourage more people. In fact, you should be encouraging people not to buy Disney Plus or borrow old DVDs from people. Anything to not give Disney money. You should not be giving these studios who hate your guts, who hate everything about you, the fans, because a lot of you happen to be straight, white and male, anything. Don't give them any of your money because they don't like you. They hate you. It's okay to hate them back. To quote Razor Fist, it's okay. Now, for those of you who are reviewers, I understand why you may have a subscription because you need to get there first to review things. I get that, guys, but this is a matter of principle and you may have to cancel it and be a bit slower in your reviews as a result of that. Now, Gina Carano, for those of you who may be worried about her, don't worry. She has a new job. She's working with the Daily Wire to produce a film with Ben Shapiro, which, to be honest, she's making it with him. It's going to be crap because it's Ben Shapiro. He's a flip-flopper, he's a grifter, and he just makes the most milquetoast takes. At least she's got something that's good, and at least she's not backing down from this. Now, Gina Carano is not the first, and she will not be the last to be cancelled in Hollywood. Already, we're seeing the king, male feminist Joss Whedon, having a prolonged cancellation as we speak, with people from Buffy the Vampire Slayer coming out and attacking him, saying that he was abusing his power, he was a horrible boss, and things like that. This is going to continue for a long time, and it's about time that people get realistic about this, figure out how they're going to stop it, because it's only going to continue, and you can't just sit there and hope and wish that it's going to stop, because it isn't, because they're going to continue doing it unless you change the incentives of these companies. I don't know if that is either cancelling membership so they realise we can't do this because, well, it's an unpopular move with the fans and we're going to lose money by firing Gina Carano or any other celebrity, petitioning your politicians, anything. Just do anything you can. And it also means you have to be there for these people when the SJWs enact their cancellation. That means you need to get in there and start fighting them. Obviously not violently. This is all online. That means countering their claims and their points with your own, defending this person, allowing them and their company to see that actually opinion is not so straightforward as it seems, and actually most people, or at least 50% of the people, don't want her to be removed. That's what you need to do. You can't just stand there and let it happen. I don't know, it's just a suggestion. But anyway, I'm going on with myself. Until next time, it's been your boy, and I'll see you all later.